Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host, Trevor, and today we're going to do the start of May of 2025 for the video log series. So, as a quick refresher, I grow carnivorous plants called Nepenthes. I grow these on a windowsill, in a tank, and I think somewhere else is in a cabinet. But mainly, I grow these as you see them. There's nothing special. I don't have air conditioning. I do have a heater in here, but that's more for the winter just to prevent it from getting too cold, because usually outside can get down into the 30s. I usually have it set to go and cut off around into the low 60s, high 50s, just to prevent any issues with snakes and the birds that are also in the room. So, just to give you some refresher, I am in California. I live in the valley. I actually do live near mountainous and valley areas, so I have natural night drops from the ocean breeze that hits kind of in the afternoon. It's quite handy and honestly helps me keep some of the harder to grow ones, such as the highland type species. Nepenthes are broken up usually into lowland, intermediate, or highland. Intermediate kind of can go into the highland or into the lowland. Lowland like it warmer, highland like it colder. Very simple. One of the things I found, in my opinion, kind of as a misinformation or not friendly to people getting into this hobby was some of the information on Veitchii. Now, Nepenthes veitchii are probably the most adaptable species I've ever handled, Truncata being the second, which Truncata actually might be a distant relative of it, if the way some of these research things are going down. Um, but Nepenthes veitchii, when I started looking at them, were labeled as a lowland species, which for my conditions that I could do colder, I always had a problem doing the lowland species. Now, I did, as some of you know, develop methods to grow lowland species in highland without a problem. I had Bicalcarata, I have Clipiata, I have Sumatrana, I had Northiana, no issues. Um, Suratensis, even, which is actually an ultra lowland, it is found exactly at sea level and it's critically endangered. I got one of those as a gift and it's doing quite well. Very pretty leaves. I believe it's a yellow trapped one though, maybe pinkish sometimes. But beyond that, growing lowlands was usually really hard for me. Ampullaria, or amps as most of us call them, are probably the one species of the lowland I struggle with the most. Now, that being said, I do have quite a few amp black miracle hybrids, and that's about as far as I can usually go, or at least that I've attempted to go with. I haven't tried a pure amp in a while, even doing the slow acclimation process. I kind of developed to do the lowlands in the highland conditions, but quite frankly, I've just been too focused on getting other species or doing research on the ones I currently have. So there's that. So just kind of a quick refresher, as I know some people were asking who are newer, just to get that information out of the way. Now, starting with the collection, I actually did a trade with one of my subs. I guess he is going to be going into the Navy, and he had a Rajah, and I'd been helping with the Rajah, but he was worried that the Rajah would have problems if he went out for service, and he wouldn't be able to take care of it, or his wife wouldn't be able to either. So we did a trade. I ended up getting the Rajah. He got my larger Truncata, because he still wanted a larger plant that could do big traps similar to Rajah. Big, tall, impressive, and hardy, and easier to take care of. And I said, I do have a Truncata, and his Rajah was smaller, and I did get the Rajah in, and he got the Truncata. I also sent him some little seedlings just to be as a nice little freebie. I always love sneaking surprise into orders. It's just something I do. People did it to me, and I do it back. I think that's good karma and whatnot. Now, that Rajah came in. It's one of the 3152. There's actually 4 clones within that circle. I'm not sure if it's the same clone I have or one of the sisters but I have it now, and so now I have 2 3152 Rajas. And it looks like it's already produced a basil, so I thought that was neat. My Tembucon Raja, when we get in the tank, I'll show, is recovered fine from its repot finally, and whatnot. We'll get there when we get there. At this time, I'm kind of like focusing still on getting more Veitchii, but right now I've got an import coming in through a friend. We're getting some stuff from the UK. 3 sets of different Veitchii, so that'll be nice. One is a pure Marood, which that's just a location that they're from. To my understanding, the Maroon Vicia are more elegant. They can be elongated with flair, and they seem a little more extravagant, but they're not as colorful or stripy usually as often as the Candy or the Barrio or the Palmore or those types. The second in the set that I'm getting, second set I should say, is a Candy Candy crossed with a Candy. So it's a Candy X Candy that was crossed with another Candy. So this is a Candy F3. I'll be getting two of those. There's only a few people getting these, so in the U.S. through the airport, so I'll be one of a few to see how those develop out. The other one is a in-house Grex of MXM. Now, the female use is actually John Carnivores. John is the guy who produced the JF001 VGI seedlings that I have and have been selling on and off for a while now, just in bursts. But I do still have some of those if anybody wants a few. They're not too crazy. I sell them for like $30, and if you get a few of them, I'll even knock a discount down if you get three. I think that's fair. Anywho, uh, the Red Sox Bar are doing fine too. I know some are asking about those. GF Long, X Candy Dreams, all of them are germinated that I think are going to germinate, and they're getting little traps now, so it'll just be quite a few months until they're at a decent size that I think that they'll start showing some traits. But it'll basically be another year before they're ever ready to go out, in my opinion. But hey, they could get a growth spurt. At this time, the research seeds, nothing has germinated in those yet, nothing from the Ampulara seeds. I have such a pain with amps. They do not like me, and I was attempting seeds, but maybe it's just too cold for them to germinate. I don't know. Now, the other VGI seeds I do have that are hopefully going to germinate are the Candy Red X Candy Red, so that'll be nice. Those are the two Amos Candy Reds bred back to each other. I'm excited to see what comes of those. And then the other is an Asian Grex. It's an Asian VGI, female bred with Candy Dreams. She has quite an interesting style. It kind of reminds me of Taffy. Very tall with like flare spikes on the outer edge. Goldenish. I only saw her age straps. I never saw her fresh ones, which could have been pink, I guess, or red. But so far, it reminded me of Taffy a lot. So it was a good, interesting Grex to get. I'm so far the only one doing that, and I'm splitting the pot with the person who did the import for me. So there's those, and I think that's it for the seeds right now. None of the other seeds ever germinated, so I just kind of put them in a back area in the seedling dome and see if anything still pops up from them, but I'm very doubtful. Yeah, so there's that. Trying to think offhand if there's anything else I should go over. Let's just, I guess, pop down here. So the hybrid I'm calling Lux, you can see, is getting some nice stripes. Lux is because it actually has glowing mid-vein, which I find fascinating. VGR are doing good. You can also see the Cobra lilies are starting to get some size on them, just a little bit at a time. Oh, that's a pretty trap. I don't even know what that is. It's a VGI of some sort, mind you. Pretty sure. Oh, that's my Hose Mountain X Barrio. Sheesh. It has a lot of stripes. That must have just opened. I did not see that yesterday. This VGI, which is Big Mama X the Wave, that one actually has like 3 basils on it. You can see my Akazuki X Barrio. That was one my friend Andrew sent me. That was a basil one he got from someone else, and he was selling it to get some cash. That's the one I got from him, so that's the other seed grown. And then there's my seed grown, which is the Akazuki X Barrio I call Akatsuki. Akatsuki. The card 207 with the red leaf here is very intriguing. So very red traps with stripes, but its sibling here had one that already popped, stripy and flared. Where is the new trap? I don't know. It's looking really nice. This is the Pink X Barrio from Premium Exotics. The Clippiatas are doing really good. These are one that if you get one, just get one because their leaves get big and you start having to wonder, where am I going to have room to put this large leafed plant? But they're all doing good, and I just play plant Tetris until I figure out what needs to be done. just the way of things. Edward Sienna seems to be stable. I can't tell if it's a little leaf because Eddie here can be a bit of a tease. It will push a leaf out very small and then that leaf stretches out. So you take that as you will. I keep checking in here to see if there's like a basil hiding, but there's actually a bunch of pings hiding right there for whatever reason. And that's the crimson candy, so that's the one right back there is main body. Got a nice trap hiding there. It's also looking like it's making one down in there. Taffy's new trap looks to be right here. K3 actually has a trap hiding on the other side of the window. Her basil looks to be stable, the one I'm rooting for Travis, hopefully. Will kick in. Berbigier looks to be still trying to make a trap way in the back there. Rajah Peltata, not really donating right now. The Nebularium's right there in the middle. I actually brought my other Rob Cantley eye out here and it's doing fine. You can see all the plants are quite happy. So that was a nice little surprise to see. It looks like Lemon Cherry is finally coming back and making traps again. It does have the 2 basils in there, I think, doing well. I don't know. Looks to be fine. I moved some of the littler Veitchii out here and into the back cabinet after I've made some sales just to make some room from the spring cleaning. That's currently up on Instagram. So if you want to pick up anything, just hit me up on Instagram, Wise Exotics and all that. They're all doing quite well. Let's head over to the tank, shall we? Well, hello everybody. We're back over at the tank area. There's the new Rajah that was just acquired. There's my older 3152, and there is the Tembe Yukon form, which is doing quite well. Big traps. I like how its trap is just hanging there as a perfect example. It's literally, the trap is almost the same size as that whole plant. Just ready. Research pots, nothing yet that I can see, which is a big disappointment. Sadly, nothing in those yet, but they're only a few weeks in, so they're going to take a few months. The GF Wong X Candy Dreams are doing quite well. The M's, all those are doing fine. The macros look to be doing okay in the back. I got that little mystery macro and its own little dome thing. I don't know if I should leave it open or closed just to keep it stable, but it seems quite happy. You can see this Macro 23 is starting to get orange and toothy, and the Velosa got nice and red on that new trap. It's probably the most red one I've ever seen at this size. The variegated Veitchii is doing well. Still gets a little burn on the white spot sections, so it makes it harder to see them. Ovada had its first trap right here. Card 242 finally had a trap, so there's that. Looks like my psychedelic X Pink Candy Cane is going well. Let's go here check out the Diabolica. So she's pushed 2 new leaves after her little temper tantrum. I'm not sure if she's still mad and still acclimating. I don't know what's going on with her, but she is doing these really tiny malformed leaves, but they're a very dark green if you compare them to the other green leaves below. It actually got a lot darker, so I think she's trying to figure out her equilibrium with absorbing the new nutrients, because I put a little more Akadama and Kanama in this and I give it a little more aeration, so I think she's just figuring out. The AW1, which is right below her now, I put her back in her old spot so we can see this. AW1 is nice and red and toothy, and it seems perfectly stable. It's getting jumps and traps now. Argente, so that basil's pretty good now. It's producing a trap, and then the main body's making a trap. St. Ilana. I moved Mollus in the back because it keeps trying to fall out of the pot, and so it's an easier way for me to keep an eye on it. Christolochoides, Epiphydiata, Loei, which is right there in the middle, kind of like hiding. That's Aime, nice and striped Aime. And then right there is Lingulata, Attenborough. So they're all doing well. That one in the back is I believe, someone had asked me about it. It is a Bellii X Suratensis to my understanding. And the giant trap there, which is on my sensor, is a Veitchii KX Candy Striped. KX CK striped, which is a Murad or a candy, I believe. Some interesting news on the VCI front. So Drew over at Carnivoro is going to be releasing a new Grex. It's car 735 to my understanding. It is going to be a very limited batch, and there's a sad reason to that. The mother died. To what I understood after he did an initial batch on the live auction, which I grabbed one, the mother was a Merudix candy, which I have one somewhere in here. Actually, I think I moved that to the back. Merudix candy, which is usually done by Christian Klein. But the female is called Merudix Candy Giant. Merudix Candy Giant, I guess, after they harvested the seeds of a recent breeding, died. I'm not sure if she just put too much nutrients out for the seeds, maybe, and didn't leave any for herself and went into shock. But I'm not too sure what happened with that. But they bred her with Pink Candy Cane, which is the same one father as this one, Pink Candy Cane. Was bred with that, so it's Marud X Candy Giant bred with Pink Candy Cane, car 735. The initial batch had a tray of 20, and he only sold 15 of those, so he's keeping 5 of those for himself just to keep the genetics. I don't know if he's gonna do another sale on the website for any more. I don't know how many bred out and germinated, so it could only be 20. But he's been kind of just letting those cook to see how they turn out. So far, as I said, there were about 20 available, and some people grabbed 3. I just grabbed 1. So when that comes in, I'll give kind of a little prequel of that, how it's looking. But it was just kind of a wow, that sucks. So when you're breeding VTI and whatnot, make sure you give them decent amount of fertilizer, I guess, or I'm not too sure what happened. Like this one's been my pain, and it's a clone to my understanding. The Big Mama X The Wave, car 168. This was my initial gross choice that I got when I ordered a medium. They sent me a small, so Drew sent me a medium as replacement. That was the yellow one over there. So this is the other one I kept, and it's just been temperamental. It was yellow and squat, but it just freaks out every so often, and I'm not sure what to do with it. Whereas, like by example, this one, they died on import for me, which is a Candy Red X Candy Striped. But checking the parents has the same parents as these, Candy Red X Candy Red. So I'm pretty sure it was a mislabel because he showed what the parents should look like. And it was Candy Red and Candy Red, so it was like, you using your own designation, I did? I'm not sure. This one came out really pink, and overall, K3 hasn't darkened or had any issues, so I'm pretty sure she's going to root, so that'll be the first rooting of that. Learning from Mike Fallon, apparently, he did not keep K3. He might be picking up one from a friend, and there's the female clip. Just kind of giving you guys, I'm making space here for those new VGI. Hopefully I have room. I might have to move the larger rajah and this other VGI out. I was trying to get this one to stabilize. Oh gosh, it's already making a trap. That thing's only been here like a week or two, and yeah, so just amazes me how quick some of these just perk up and go. You can see some of my little JF01s are doing fine in there, and the birds are trying to get my attention. Yeah, overall, new plant is doing fine. The new rajah looks like it settled in. It already has a basil pushed out at the bottom since I got it. A little basil. So I don't know if it's the same clone as that one, but we'll see as it ages out, and if not, well, no matter what, it's a female. So my hope is if I can get a male, I can do my own in-house Hort Kinabalu form. And then there's always Behemoth, which, this little monster can always... I would be surprised if this wasn't a male. This thing is just a beast. Look at that trap. This is just such a pretty rajah trap. I can't wait to see it do those side flares. It's like one of my favorite parts of the rajah, honestly. I don't know why this one is so whatever. To my understanding, I know some people are asking about what these little speckles are on the bodies of some VCI. VCI interbreed with Maxima naturally in the wild, so there are some Maxima genetics. Maxima get these same genetics, so if you're breeding VCI to VCI over time, you're going to start seeing these little things because that's the Maxima genes either being recessive or dominant pushing through, and that's why some of these get body spots. it's kind of like a, what are those called? It's not a passive, it's a partial expression of that genetic trait. It keeps more when they're younger, I'm pretty sure, as some sort of camouflage system, but as they get older, they become formed into spots. So, just your random trivia for the day. If anybody has any questions or things like that, feel free to ask, put them in the comments, or hit me up on Instagram. That's all. Trevor out.